the strings.
What's up, guys? Back at the shop. So today's agenda, before we start messing with, I'm going to start sanding on Supra today. Before we do that, I am getting ready to finalize and order online, basically, to order all of the stuff for this this F350. You know, basically this upper support, the radiator, you know, the regular radiator, the intercooler radiator, this AC line right here, because this one, no, I think this one, because this one's kind of weird. Before that, I do that, last week I basically didn't pull off the rest of this because I just didn't want everything kind of exposed. But I'm gonna go ahead, pull off the front of this, make sure that I have you know, absolutely everything that I need, or you know, if any additional things that I find that are broken, maybe like this that thing might be messed up, so I might have to order one of those. But just so I can finalize my order and get that ordered, so I'm gonna pull that off. Alright guys, so I got the front end all ripped off of this thing. Basically, here's the little intercooler radiator. We got the big giant radiator. I mean, that thing is huge. This fan doesn't really look that bad. There's only a couple little, like, tiny little spots on the edge. There's no, like, stress on it. There's, like, no stress cracks or anything. A new one's like 80 bucks, so I'll probably order one of those. You can also see right here, this is like the piece that actually bolts to the motor and kind of keeps everything away from it. Basically bolts to those little tabs right there, and that's broken. You know, basically the whole fan shroud, the upper, it has a little crack right there, so that's not terrible. The bottom thing right there, I mean, if this thing had like 200,000 miles on it, I'd probably just, you know, try to squiggle away without replacing a lot of the crap. But since, you know, since it's 30,000 miles, it's planning on being the new tow day, not daily, but like, you know, the new all over the country rig. I plan on just replacing everything, so probably will just go ahead and do the fan, all that crap. Then the other thing is, let's see, I will go ahead and order that intercooler boot that replaces this factory plastic one, because right here those always crack, so I'll order that. That's an HS Motorsports one. I was really happy with the quality of the no limit like EGR delete, so I'll go ahead and probably order one of those too, with the tuning and all that crap. And this thing, probably won't even drive it for like stock for very long, depending on, you know, when the parts come in and whatever, depending on, you know, how fast this thing is actually going to be able to be done. This frame rail kind of looks almost funny to me, but it like almost looks straight as well. I think maybe it's just throwing me off because you can see this whole radiator support, the lower radiator support, is pushed back. So like I said, they basically have this whole new stub on, it's like 330 bucks for this whole piece. And I believe it just, you know, just the spot welds in there. And I think it only goes into there not really even that far. So I think that shouldn't be a big deal. Just order a new one of these. Same thing with the lower thing. And then the upper thing as well. And yeah, that should get us back into shape. But I guess that's enough of it. Oh, the other thing is, this thing has like a little bit of play in it. I don't know. It's like hard to say if that's like a normal amount of play or not. I don't really think would maybe be too big of an issue, but I think this thing's like 200 and some bucks, like 270 bucks. So I'll go ahead, probably replace that too. Like I said, I just want this thing to be like 110% and you know, not really cut any corners on it and make it really nice. So I basically have fenders. I don't need the headlights, no grill or anything yet, but basically everything in that cart is like $3 grand, which I called actually my local Ford dealer today, and just the radiator alone was like 500 and some bucks, like, whereas online it's like 430. With the shipping for all this crap is like $160 or something. And basically I'm ordering it from like lascofordparts.com, which seems like they're just another Ford dealer, but they actually like have an online retail like thing, and they just sell it off their website. That's where I actually ordered a lot of the parts for the Mustang too. It seems like that was almost the best price. Like I said, I would like to go with the local Ford dealer, but at the same time, and those prices were even with like a dealer or you know, another account that I was using, and expensive. So anyhow, got to order parts for this thing. Start sanding on Supra. I didn't it, David? So anyhow, we're in the live from the paint booth. We're I mean, this red's nice red. I don't know. I'm way up in the air still. So this is just a rendering that somebody sent me on Facebook, and I mean that looks pretty nice. It wouldn't be like the red chrome vinyl. It's basically just gonna be this candy red in the back, and then just the normal silver, and then like that Ford truck black in the front, where it has kind of like the purple and green and random little like accent metallic-y stuff to it. But the issue I see right here, as you can see right there, the door handle, it goes right over the door handle. I won't put the logo on it either, but yeah. So the door handle would be an issue, and then I guess getting kind of vinyl and stuff into this little pocket right here, as far as like the side skirt, would be kind of a pain. Not terrible, but the other thing I thought about doing was actually just having this printed or cut in vinyl and then put it on here. So basically spray this whole section silver, put the vinyl on it, then you paint everything else. You know, basically you paint the back red, and then you paint the front black, and then you peel off the vinyl, and then you clear coat the whole thing, and then it turns out really nice. So that's kind of the idea. I don't know. I guess I need to call around some. Well, so the other thing is I have a vinyl cutter, but the vinyl I have is like really tacky or really like sticky, and you're not supposed to do that over fresh paint. So there's like a low tack vinyl that is like specifically meant for like stenciling and doing stuff like this, that doesn't react with like the automotive solvents and stuff, or supposedly. So we could have it like printed in that, and then put it on here, you know, and then paint the rest of it. So that's kind of the idea. The other thing is, since this is like the candy coat red with like the integrated clear, that might be kind of a pain, because it'll actually build up kind of a decent sized film on it, because it is a candy, basically 2 coats of candy clear, and then I'd have to peel off the stuff and then clear coat the rest of the car. So it might get a little bit complicated like that, and might have to do some experimenting, but you know, the whole front of the car would be pretty simple, because basically the hood, fenders, and front bumper would all be black. The front of the doors would pretty much be black, and you know, part of the roof, and then I don't know. So I'd have to do the door jambs over again, which when we taped them last time, we kind of did. You can see there's like that little bit of a line right there. Basically just waited too long to take the tape off. So the door jambs pretty much need masked or resprayed anyhow, because if I was gonna spray the whole car red again, I would basically pull off the doors and everything and leave it just like the rolling shell with nothing on it, paint the car as one, roll it out, and then have like all the doors and everything in here and paint them as one, so that I don't have like those tape lines and stuff going around. Because you could also see like right here, there's like a weird tape line too. So basically it'd be like one nice piece of candy. I mean, I could sand that and kind of hit it with the buffer a little bit on that edge, and it would kind of go away, or hand buff it. But I don't know. I need to sand it no matter what. I need to sand the fender, need to sand the rear bumper, need to scuff the door jambs. So I guess we'll get started on that tonight, and then figure out some other things tomorrow. Alright guys, so shutting her down for tonight. Basically got the rear bumper sanded, front fender sanded, and then David kind of helped me out and scuffed all the little edges right here. So basically in here, and the door jambs and stuff like that. Also around trim like that, because basically anywhere that's shiny is you know, paint won't stick to it. So anything like this is, you know, if it gets anything on it, it's just not going to stick. So yeah, he sanded all that stuff. And I kind of sanded the fenders a little bit more. A couple little spots I kind of touched up on the car, but mostly the back bumper and the front fender. And then kind of had some issues with the tape over here in the door jamb. You can see there's kind of a weird tape line right there. I don't like tape lines. Tape lines are weird, but anyhow, be back tomorrow. Can you see that? I mean, that's kind of cool. All right, Eric, what did we decide?
We're making magic.
Cheap magic, though.
Cheap magic.
Cheaper magic.
More cheap.
More cheap. So this is, instead of actually having that that Ford code, because it would almost be a little bit kind of gray. So we're using this Omni Black, which is just straight black. So this is basically the same stuff that I have on the front of my drift car. And we're just adding a little bit of like a vibrance pearl to it. And so that'll kind of give it that, I don't know, like greenish, yellowish, purplish. Yeah, all of that stuff.
All the goodies.
So this is basically going to be the front of the car. We're going to do the silver and vinyl, and then we're going to do the transparent clear because I ran out of that and I have enough base, and then we're going to do some more clear, and it's going to be pretty. Alright, so I'm going to mix my own paint for the Supra. Well, the clear, because it has the red ruby or whatever in it. Doing it in the Deltron. It's pretty simple. Basically, you just have the weight of this, you zero that out, and then you put in like a certain amount of that color. So basically you just pour it in and watch the numbers as they go up. I've mixed my paint before, and I messed it up before, so I'm gonna go. Can I go faster?
Hey, it's up to you. You got a ways to go, so you can go a little quicker.
Yeah, but I don't.
When you hit 30, you might want to back it off.
Well, I've done this before. I've messed up my own paint before because I've actually done it. See, and then like watching it, and then watching the rest of it. Uh-oh. We're getting close. No, you do it. You finish it.
Oh, you were there, dude.
I know, but I'm filming. I'm doing the other things. 41. You went over.
It's a little concentrated.
That's good. Because the rest, I think you did the other one a little bit more too. It was good.
Oh, look at that. That looks kind of weird.
It'll zoom down into the depths of that. That does look weird. It looks like, I don't even know what that looks like. It looks gross though.
It looks like when mud settles out of it.
Alright guys, so I felt like I didn't get a whole lot of stuff done last night or whatever. But anyhow, back here today. And so the plan is to go ahead and pull off the doors and the front, or the hood, and basically pull the car out of the bay, or the paint booth. Went ahead and removed this leg right here. As you can see, it's kind of tight. Wouldn't really be able to move it in and out. So we'll go ahead and get it backed out over here, pull the doors off, scuff the back of them, and you know, at least for the door jamb portion of them, and then go ahead and actually kind of do like a test spray in the booth with the front bumper, the hood, the fenders, and the doors, and then hopefully everything goes with that, and that's just going to be that black color. So I mean, even if we do get a little bit of stuff in it, shouldn't really matter a whole lot because we will be able to cut and buff it out pretty easily. And then after that, probably not tonight, but probably the next video you guys will see, we'll be actually painting the rest of the car. So let's go ahead and start moving stuff. Alright, so now that the doors are off of the car, now I need to go around basically the back of them. You can see where they were previously painted red, and now it's time to paint that stuff black. So go ahead and hit these things basically with the Scotch-Brite, same thing that we did, you know, with all the little edges and stuff. Scotch-Brite and the little scuffing paste. Same thing with like down here in these holes. You can see that's nice and shiny down there. Pretty much anywhere that there's shiny, there doesn't need to be shiny. So we just make it not shiny, and then it's ready to paint. So I'm leaving the bottom of the hood red. So I'm gonna kind of mask that off a little bit better. Kind of go around and grab, like, touch up the shiny edges. But so instead of like how I painted it last time, I painted all the door jambs and then basically bolted everything on the car and then masked everything. This is gonna be a little bit easier this time because, yeah, and then so we don't have like weird tape lines or anything like that we have to worry about. Basically, I'm just going to paint these things as one complete piece. So since they're on the stand right here, I'll be able to get underneath them and just paint them black, basically on the bottom, and then paint black on top. And then when I clear coat it, just clear coat the bottom and the top at the same time. And then they'll all be one piece and no weird, silly, stupid like tape lines and stuff. Kind of the same thing with the car too. So you can see there's this random tape line right there. You can kind of feel it, but you can mostly see it. And I think especially with doing all the candy stuff, it just really makes it kind of look like crap. So we'll kind of sand that down a little bit more so that it doesn't show up later. But these door jambs are all gonna be black. The engine bay is still gonna be red. Just go ahead and mask that off because I like the way that looks. Yeah, so basically I'll just basically run a tape line right here, straight down, paint this whole front piece black up until pretty much this corner right here. And then, so this will all be black going up right here until like right here, paint the top of the hatch black as well. And then just go ahead with the red, and then the silver will kind of blend in between them and kind of go, you know, like middle right here and then on the door right there. But you know, I'm basically just painting the door completely black so that all this stuff is there. And then let's say later down the road I decide I do want to sell it or something. Door jambs will already be black. I could basically just delete the MotionAutoTv theme off of it by just kind of wet sanding the back of it, or essentially the shell of it, and just painting that stuff black. So that'll be super simple in the future. And I also think, you know, for like repairs and stuff, it'll make it a lot simpler for me. Let's say I get rock chips and stuff on the front bumper or the fender or the hood or whatever. It's just that black, so I don't have to worry about candies and transparent coats and, you know, all the thing and it mismatching, and candies really fade a lot in the sun. So this will eliminate a lot of problems, and I think it kind of gives me that like branding that I was kind of looking for with this car. Because I mean, if I was just a normal dude that wanted a red Supra, like I'd have been pumped with the red. But I want the, you know, the black, the silver, and the red to kind of go with the theme of the channel. So I don't know, time to scuff some more. Alright guys, so basically for like the last, I don't know, almost 2 hours since David left, I've just been kind of cleaning the booth a little bit, wetting down the floor. I you know, swept it all out, wet it down, and then like pushed the water out of the sides, and then took the blowgun and blew out the whole inside of it. You know, blew off all the panels and stuff, and then basically wet it down again and wet it down again. So I think we're pretty much ready to spray. So I've been kind of going over, I've been finding like little bitty imperfections here and there, and been kind of like wet sanding them out, and you know, finding little shiny spots where there don't need to be shiny spots. And then I was trying to arrange the booth in a way that, you know, I feel that I could get, you know, around most of the stuff without, you know, hitting the hose on everything. So it almost seems like I've had better luck putting, like in the booth, everything at the end of the booth was really clean, because everything in front of it, like, kind of was the magnet that stuck everything to it. So hopefully the hood comes out really clean, because that's going to be the biggest, flattest spot that I don't want to have to buff as much. I'm definitely assuming I'm going to have to cut and buff. Well, I am going to cut and buff everything. So it's pretty much ready to spray. I mean, I'm kind of scared, but you know, hopefully with the amount of air that's moving out here, you can see basically this whole wall is blown out, and then everything, you know, like the whole booth is pretty much kind of a big balloon or whatever. So yeah, now it's time to load up this this black with basically has some Vibrance Pearl in it, that mimics that Ford color, but while maintaining its like blackness. Instead of it being kind of a charcoal look, it'll be like really dark black, and you'll barely be able to see that little bit of pearl and stuff in there. I also got this, it's like a multi-prep. Say it's good for like fiberglass and stuff. So basically you kind of spray that on there, and it's supposed to get rid of a lot of the static that's associated with fiberglass parts, you know, when you're painting them, because basically then it turns it into a big magnet. We got the new paint filter, got me a brand new tack cloth. The other thing, so this is similar to DBC 500. Basically, it's a clear base coat, and kind of what you do is you spray this down before you lay down your normal base coat on, you know, like really good metallics and stuff, just so that the metallics don't lay in scratches and stuff. And since I have been kind of sanding on that stuff with like 600 grit, I'm probably gonna go ahead and hit it with this. This is like the cheaper version of it, but it's base coat blender, so it hopefully that'll make everything kind of lay out super smooth, you know, not find any scratches and make the metallics kind of stand up weird in it, even though there's not much metallic in it anyhow. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I'm gonna, I guess, get suited up, get in my little paint suit, and start spraying. The Supra's also in the shop. I just got it covered up, and then I got basically the S14, the Mustang, and the truck all outside, so that those, you know, won't get any overspray or anything on them. It is kind of windy outside right now. I did kind of want to have the door open, and then a lot of times what I'll do is when I'm painting stuff, I'll kind of paint it right here, and I'll open the door a little bit, and then basically put a fan blowing out there, and what it does is it kind of draws in air, and then kind of brings it around over there, kind of gets rid of it. So I kind of wanted to do that, but at the same time I don't want any like dust blowing in from outside, but I might end up having to do that anyhow, just so that it kind of does refresh the air and the whole shop doesn't just fill with overspray. So Alright guys, so I guess that's all that's getting painted tonight. I was debating on actually kind of leaving the booth on for a little bit. I mean, I guess it's only been like Alright guys, so that's pretty much gonna be it for tonight. So I went ahead and I did 3 coats of clear on there, and that is the Deltron. It's the Dc3000, which is basically kind of like a panel clear, like a production clear. It's meant for cars that you're only doing a couple panels on, you know, basically exactly what I'm doing. So, you know, fenders, doors, hood. I mean, that's almost a little bit too much. It's about 70 or so degrees in the shop right now, maybe a little bit more. And I use like the high temperature hardener, which is like for 90, 95 degrees. So typically this was like completely dry in like an hour and a half, and you could like cut and buff it and like put it into service. So it'll probably take a little bit longer than that. With the hardener and stuff that I used, basically within 30 minutes, it shouldn't, you know, really, if dust lands on it, it shouldn't really affect it too much. Yeah, so I'm pretty pumped with, I guess the outcome. I mean, there's definitely a couple little things in here. You can see that's probably one of the biggest ones out of everything. But overall, you know, with the 3 coats of clear coat, I should be able to easily cut and buff and basically just nib out some of the big dirt spots. You know, a couple things like right there. Nib those out, and then basically polish the rest of it, and it'll be shining like a diamond. So you can see these little bag filters, or basically these are pre-filters for like a spray bake booth. And you can see where they kind of sucked in the overspray from actually out inside the shop, and you know, kind of trapped it on the inside. But yeah, so basically kept the floor wet the whole time. You know, this one kind of started making a weird noise, so I turned it off. But you could even see with only the one going, you could see that it's still, you know, kind of pushing the door open, and you could kind of still feel a little bit of a breeze coming through here. So I should be good enough to kind of shut that off and kind of let this stuff sit overnight, come back tomorrow, and the plan is to, I guess, spray this thing, or at least try to get this sprayed within the next day or so. I'm not sure if it'll 100% be tomorrow. There's a couple more things I need to mess with, like the, you know, the door handles and the mirrors, and I don't know, a bunch of little things. Tomorrow I'll also be trying to kind of figure out how to get this pattern basically onto the car or whatever. I did order some silver vinyl. I decided to not try and paint it on there. I figured, you know, it'll be a little bit easier if it's in vinyl. If I don't like it, I can just pull it off, and then basically the car will be just done. So the other thing I did is, the guy that actually made this, I had him kind of shrink it down a little bit. And so what I mean by shrink it down a little bit is I had him basically shrink the silver stripe so that it wasn't on the door handle, because the initial rendering that we had was on the door handle, and that would have been kind of a pain in the butt. And then you can see right here I had him do it so it went completely over the door handle. So yeah, just kind of some options there, kind of trying to figure out, because you can see that was how it was previously, where you can see where it's on the door handle, so that's not good. But yeah, I don't know, I am really stoked about this color. But if you guys also have, I guess, a way to get that pattern, I guess that pattern is on like Need for Speed. I'm not sure exactly which one. But if you could help me figure out how to get that pattern into like a format, or, you know, something to where I could actually put it in like my vinyl cutter and cut it all out and be able to put it on here and kind of go from there. So I don't know a whole lot about that stuff, or, you know, I Googled a bunch of stuff and couldn't really find anything, and I think it might be kind of complicated to try to get off the video game, but I don't even have the video game, so yep. Say goodnight. It's also like 3:45 in the morning, and I'm a little bit tired, so I'm probably not going to edit this video tonight, so I'll probably edit that tomorrow. Should probably spend a little bit of time with Jamie, a little bit more time with Jamie. I've been kind of busy down here all today, and kind of buttoning everything up. But appreciate you guys watching. I mean, I guess the motivation is back, but I'm tired. I'm gonna go home, and pretty soon we're gonna have little little MotionAuto brother, sister things.